This video is brought to you by Ravenscraft Realty of Northeast Missouri.
Here we are on a Wednesday night in the middle of the Point parking lot. And this isn't the usual place that I start the video, so I will explain what I'm doing in the morning. Okay, so the deal here is that I had such a set of circumstances that I was able to get out of going to class today. Today is Thursday, and fertilizer was spread here on this last farm of mine going to beans. So I had the bright idea to come home during the week and get it done because we've got rain chances later this afternoon, and I'm fairly certain I can get this 27 acres put in, but I'm still hurrying because I got out of here at 6:15 and now it's 6:50, and I finished up the backside of this place with the 620 and the field cultivator. Originally I was going to do it with the 4320 and my field cultivator, but in the interest of time I decided not to do that. And this cultivator has a lot more clearance between the ranks of shovels, so it can handle a lot bigger weeds than mine can. Yep, back two fields are finished, and we're gonna get across the ditch and finish up these front three fields, and we're gonna go home and get the planter. Well, I have a spectator that's a little bit in the way. Come on, puppy. All right, we're here at Grandpa's at the old house. Got the 4020 fired up. Got to fire up the 4320 to move it so that I can get the 4020 out. Then we're going to take 4020 over to the house and get her filled up with seed. Yeah, this here is a high drag, low speed outfit. I mean, it's better than the 730 and the Oliver. So I guess I have that going for me. Oh, the fuel leak here on cylinder number 3 from the return boot got bad enough that we had to go get new ones. And this would be why. It's because it's completely cracked and split. Well, we got Rob on the job and he fixed it. Okay, we're back over at this farm. I have the markers in field position. All the row clutches have been flipped in. And we're gonna do it. We're planting. Backside of this place done. There's like 7.5, 8 acres back here, and the last half hour it's been sprinkling intermittently, and it's made everything kind of sticky, so I may have to sit out for an hour or two while I fill up with seed, maybe get a bite to eat, and then come back and see if I can finish this. Or, even better idea, I go get the real planter and the real tractor and come back and do it all in like 45 minutes. If I was smart, I would have done that from the beginning. Hello, animals. We got Maybell, Turk. Wake up. We got Spot. You guys remember what I said about letting it air off for a few hours? Well, that's not going to happen this week because it keeps raining more and more, and not exactly what we need to air stuff off. My conditions over there were getting worse and worse, so I just had to stop. I started planting a little 2.5 acre field that's right by my landlord's house that she's going to look at every single day, and of course that's when it got really bad and I had to bring the planter back looking like this. I'll show you guys the carnage. Coming down the road and flung mud all over it. My gauge wheels had mud starting to stick to them. The closing wheels had mud sticking to them. It was just not a good deal. I guess this will have to wait till another weekend. I also need to put a half link in this chain here that drives the transmission because this chain keeps slipping off the sprocket here. Might be bent or something. I'm not actually sure. Every time I walk outside and I hear rain, I get more and more discouraged. People tried to tell me Dad mentioned last night before I headed back, he said, well, maybe we should wait until there's a little bit better outlook, but I had to do it my way and I had to do it now, so I may be paying the price for that. Well, I know I'm paying the price because I'm currently in Palmyra, Missouri on a Thursday instead of the weekend. And actually, you know what, since it's raining, I might just go back to Columbia tonight and then not come back on Friday or tomorrow, I guess, because there's not going to be anything to do. I mean, look at the fields. They're mud. There's nothing productive that I can be doing right now because I don't, like, everything that I need to do requires sunshine and dry and not raining. And we don't have either of those. We got some great news on the planter front. We got all the liquid stuff on our old planter, and
It's not all on.
okay, it's not all on.
Only halfway.
Okay, yeah. And dealer stopped by, and he said, we got great news. Your planter got invoiced, so it should be here in like a couple days. And the next couple days, it's going to be raining. So we're going to call the people that put this on and tell them, hey, we got some great news. New planter's here. The bad news is, have to take all this stuff off and then put it on the new planter.
Yeah, off again.
Yeah. And how many tubes of grease did you use for this thing?
No, like 5 degrees, everything up.
Maybe we should bill side stricker for a couple tubes of grease in your time.
Yeah. I mentioned that.
Well, we've had an unprecedented turn of events. But first, we're going to take the 345 and the 1795 over to the house just because we're not going to be planting anymore. And this farm here is done, and rather have it sitting under a roof than out in the rain for the next couple days. Man, the guy who mows this yard must take care of it pretty well. That house there is absolutely sick. Would live there in a heartbeat. But it needs some work. I mowed the yard here for like 6 years, and I'm going to continue doing that for as long as I can. Okay, this is the field of beans that we planted last weekend. And here's one of the rows. Let's just dig around and see what we can find. Here we go. It's already trying to come up. Shoot, that's got a really nice root on it. I'm going to put him back, or her. If the whole field looks like that, I think we're going to have a great stand of beans here. In this shed here, I need to fix that because it's starting to fall down. Get a load of gravel in here and pull the chisel plow out and put it over here. Pick the sickle mower up, put it in this corner, and then I can park my planter here, and the 4320 and the cultivator are in the lean-to part of the shed. This was way before YouTube, but we used to keep combines in here, and this actually had a like a hay mow loft right about this level. And Grandpa in the early 2000s cut it out so that he could put combines over here. Well, we got a big shed. Why not use it? Well, here's our new high-speed corn planter. It's only like a month-ish late. That's no deal. No big deal. Yeah, so we got a phone call from John Deere dealer. Said, hey, your new planter's here. Come get it. So I guess tomorrow, Dad is going to take the 8R370 and our old planter and get all the stuff taken off of it. And we're going to pick up the new one and bring it home. I don't know if he'll video that or not. I doubt that I come back home this weekend because obviously it's raining and it's going to keep raining. So there's really not a whole lot that I can do. I will always rep Ravenscraft Realty. That's a good bunch of people, and they'll fix you up with something whether you're wanting to buy or sell.
Changed the closing wheels back out last night. Took my Dawn curved tines back off, put the rubber wheels back on, moved them back where they belong. Today, gotta pull the tank up back off. The Surefire tower, all the hoses, little tubes are on there. It's all the valves, all the controls. I'll pull that off hopefully this morning. Go over and take this planter over to Side Strickers. Bring the new one home and start putting this all back on the new one today. It's gonna be a lot of repetition. And I don't know what to do, so we got our guys who put this on to begin with are gonna come over and do a majority of the work on this. We'll just be assisting. Oh, and it's raining again today. At about 3:10 yesterday, calling for showers and storms again today, maybe tomorrow. So we'll be out for a few days again.
I think I found my new tillage tractor. Cool Ford TW35. We got a 3594 Case IH, mostly Case. A couple Alice Chalmers. Just a bunch of cool stuff here. Yeah, I remember how I said I was going to stay in Columbia this weekend? Yeah, I lied. I got bored and I decided to take a different way home than I usually do so I could go by Wise Brothers here on I-70. They've been here since like 1940 something. And at first they were selling Alice Chalmers, but now they've moved on to like maybe New Holland, some other kind of things like that. Got a pretty sweet John Deere Van Brunt grain drill and a Buffalo corn planter. As I understand, those are more of an out west kind of thing.
The new planter is in our shop. Went over yesterday after we got everything off the other one. Picked it up over at Side Stricker Nobi. It is literally just as it was. It came off the truck. These outside 2 units jacked up in the air. Nothing was done to it. Yesterday we did get the liquid system put on. I'm working on changing out my closing wheels to the Dawn curve tine. Got half of those done here. Got to put a camera on the back end of it because you can't see anything behind it with all these tanks on here. This one is a 24-row exact emerge, so the high-speed planter. We have lots of LED lights on the back end of it. Not sure what I'm gonna use those for, but I guess it'd be really bright behind me. All LED lights other than the warning lights. It's like probably the most important lights on the planter. Think about driving up and down the road, and they're just a regular same old style bulb. I mean, really, John Deere? Come on.
And they've got a pretty nice selection of corn pickers here. And that Ford planter, I've seen that before. That was at Wheeler's consignment sale this spring, or there in January, whenever that was. I only brought like $400, and I guess I know where it ended up. And now we're heading northeast to go to Mexico, Missouri, and I'm gonna check out Side Stricker's lot out there. Usually they have like an X9 or two and a 9RX sitting out there. And they may or may not be a customer's, but it'd still be neat to see something like that. And also, apparently, that Side Stricker location, like in the early 70s, pioneered the 466 John Deere engine. It was Eddie Side Stricker and the service manager. They sat down and they said, hey, I wonder if we can put 50-20 pistons and sleeves in a 40-20 block. And they did. Well, all they had here is this lousy S780 with a 12-row rigid head. Not much here. Well, the grill caught the wind just wrong and it kind of caught it on fire. So we have the basic Weber $200 grill here. So these two fields right here behind us is where I was planting on Thursday when I got rained out. Not this part, this is alfalfa. But I am so tempted to load the planter up and go plant this. Like, I can't even describe how badly I want to do it. So we were adjusting the gauge wheels on this thing yesterday, and well, someone used an impact to tighten it.
I couldn't get this on here.
I'll just try the next size bigger in metric. So the thought here is we weld this nut to the broken off bolt in there, and then we back it out using a wrench or a ratchet. That's the thought process anyway. Now, whether that actually happens, but I'm hoping that it does. Well, the first try didn't work, so now we're trying a smaller nut, and hopefully this works. I'm gonna start the 40-20 up because you need to take a link out of that chain right there, and we're gonna get ready to go plant beans because it's good enough to go, and I need to get that done. Now, I know you're not gonna be happy with me today, 4020, but please be good. Hashtag box planters. Yep. 1.6 bushel boxes. I'm thinking maybe if I'm gonna plant a lot of beans, I need to get the 1 bushel extensions for these seed hoppers, but it'll probably be okay for what I'm doing. I'm just glad we have this nice seed tender so I don't have to use a 5-gallon bucket. Well, I neglected to look super close at this because this ground is not dry. So not gonna be planting this field today. I'd really like to go get that little field right there done, but gosh, I don't know if it's dry enough to do that. Well, it was kind of deceiving. It looked dry on top, but standing out here walking around in it, it's not good enough. I can't do it. Son of a gun. As soon as I put the planter in the ground and got going, the tractor started to spin. So I figure probably not gonna send it today. But gosh, I would just like to get the one little field done, but it's not looking like that's gonna be the case. I called Dad to see if I get his opinion on this matter. It is now several hours later, about 6 o'clock, and Dad and I are gonna go back over there to that farm and we're gonna check it out again. And if it's good to plant, I guess I'm gonna plant, and if it's not, I'm just gonna bring the tractor home. Okay, so the verdict is let's try it, because it's significantly better than it was beforehand, but it's still on the marginal side. Well, I think it's gonna work.
So my opinion is it's certainly not ideal by any means. Plenty heavy, but it's doing a passable job at least. Close the slide. Talking about some rain again tomorrow night, so if it rains again on top of them, it will go ahead and put some dirt on top of the beans. They'll probably should be okay. I know he really wants to get this planted here. You're a weekend farmer, your time is limited when it rains every weekend.
We got this small field planted, and I'm gonna take a lap around the woods down here in this other field that has the alfalfa in it. If I do plant part of this, it's not gonna be the alfalfa part because I'd like to have it sprayed before I go stuffing beans into it. And I'm gonna take a lap around the outside just so I know if it's gonna be super wet or not. So yeah, obviously the terrace channels are wet, but this is doable. I could plant that. That terrace channel up there, no way. So you can see where there's some moisture still in the ground right here. That's mostly because the trees are impeding the flow of water. So a pretty sure way to know if it's good to plant or not is if you drive through it and you get stuck. This spot is a no. Yeah, I'm thinking this is gonna be a no for planting. I hate to not get this place done all at once, but the west field over there, it's too wet because again, the trees are blocking the flow of water from getting out and getting into the ditch. And there's too much of this that's just not quite there yet, and I'd rather not take a big chance on it. And I know there's no way that this planter would close the slot in this alfalfa. Not gonna happen. Okay, the markers are locked up, row clutches are off. And now I just need to put the block in the hydraulic cylinder and we're good to go home for the day. Well, when Dad and I were looking at that video of me running the 40-20, noticed that the planter wasn't tracking quite level, and the row units were hiking up out of the ground just a little bit. Well, I moved the clevis or whatever on the planter down to the second set of holes, and it seems to be working better. Yep, this is what we want to see. We want to see it pinching the slot closed, and I think that's good enough. Unfortunately, when I was putting the hydraulic block in, I skinned my finger pretty good, but that's okay. Nothing little orange goop won't fix. This bottle's like brand new, and this one's 20 years old, and they're about the same. Hello, kitty. The sun, the dog. And here we have the fireplace with no fire. The HISEA Outdoors steel toe work boots, which I do love. Hey, look at the camera. I guess life isn't so bad right now, except for the cat that just tried to claw my arm. Hey, Arthur, would you say sorry, please? Anyways, I guess life isn't too bad right now. Class is starting to wind down, and got 2 finals and a test to take, I think. And then I'm actually going on a study abroad trip for 2 weeks to an undisclosed location. If you know, you know. And that will also be pretty fun. It's Monday morning, and went to Mimi's with my sister, and gonna check out this farm here by the hospital and see if it's ready to put ammonia on, which it appears to be. It's pretty good giant Menfro, so we can get away with getting out on this kind of ground, even having rained a couple days ago. It's a little damp, but this kind of dirt will crumble up even when it's kind of wet. All right, goodbye, puppy dog. I'll be back next week. I'll be back on Friday, don't worry. Ravenscraft Realty gang. Well, on the way back to Columbia here, I went a couple miles out of the way to get to Moberly and pick up brand new pencil injectors for the 40-20. That only cost $68 a piece times 6, so $400. Not too bad. And I've got to go to class here, and then might be doing something entertaining at work today. Maybe, maybe not. Today for the university, we're in town at a tire place on the north side of Columbia, picking up the white semi because we picked it up from inland last week, and 2 of the tires were like not in good shape, so we had to take it here to the tire place and get it fixed up a little bit. And now we're gonna take it back to Bradford, and then I think we're gonna go borrow or steal a brush hog from the beef farm, because they have like 3 of them and they only use 1, so we get 1 of them. Driving the Ford Exploder, which rocks. And there's the white semi, which isn't much, but it's better than the Ford 9000 that we had beforehand. Of course, it's raining again. And there's a farm here for sale on New Haven Road, 92 acres. They only want $1.84 million for it, or in other words, 20 grand an acre. I think the best crop that'll ever come off of this place is houses, and sadly that's probably what'll happen to it unless someone with a lot more money than me or the Goldinger family decides that they, for some reason, want to own 92 acres by Columbia. Yes, this is enjoyable, but it's better than sitting in my apartment and doing nothing, and I get paid to do this fun stuff. Well, I tell you what, for this one I'm earning the $12 an hour. That was kind of tough. Hello, cows. Moo. I'm not sure if they like a row crop farmer hanging around their neighborhood. They seem pretty nice though. And I did get brush hog here, movable. All the cylinders leak. Oh well though. We're gonna head back to Bradford because it's like past 4 o'clock, and we're technically supposed to go home at like 4:30, but that's not always the case. At the moment, there's a chain holding the wings up, and there's a chunk of 2x6 holding the whole brush hog up from dragging on the ground, because I couldn't find a cylinder block and it leaks off, and it's like a gushing leak, and it just is what it is. I'm doing the best with what I have. Well, my coworker and I got that batwing mower stuffed into the shop, and that's going to be our project here probably for the next week-ish, maybe less. This is the end of the video. That's all I have for you this week. So if you liked what you saw, you should subscribe. Like the video too. That helps to support it in YouTube's giant mathematical algorithm that no one actually knows the details of. And share it. I mean, your grandma and grandpa probably use this type of equipment when they farmed, so they might want to watch it if they want to watch a young person struggle sometimes. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.